Good morning. Good morning. Welcome, family. Welcome, Gap family. I'm so excited to have you all here in this space today. This space is designed for growth, action, and production. It's collaboration and sharpening our skills as leaders and as agents. Every week, Gap is where we plug into the community, where you gain clarity and confidence to take massive action in our business. So today is an extra special day because we'll be diving into some of the key action items and takeaways from our incredible Build at Sea event. So whether you were there with us on the ship or you're tuning in now, these insights are going to help you level up and stay accountable and keep building the momentum that we have created together. So let's warm up the chat. Who was there, by the way? If anyone in this call today, I think I see a few people that were there, and we're going to call on you shortly to share your experience there with us. But if you were on the call, can you just chime in the chat and say, hey, it was me, I was on the call? And also, if you had a win in your business last week, so not the call, the Build at Sea event, by the way, and a win for the week. And I'd like to also, while we're doing that, present to you, of course, I had the opportunity to host the or MC the event Build at Sea together with my amazing friend, partner, brother, Mike Collier. So Mike, welcome.
Thank you. What's up, Gap Mastermind?
Woohoo.
Good to see you guys on here. And I'm excited about today's call. It's going to be great. I see a lot of people chiming in the chat, saying that they were there. And here's the thing, if you also know somebody who was there, maybe you were there, but somebody else was there and they should be on here, then reach out to them and let them know, get on here. We want to see you. This is going to be great because we want to recap. We want to hear from a lot more than just us today. We want to hear from you. Some of the action items that you've taken since the Build at Sea cruise, and some of the things that you've already done or already working on, and some of the things that you might be planning to do.
I love it. It was such an amazing time. We had Jesus, I want to say like about 14 different speakers who poured into our group, and they brought it. They brought so much fire and heat, and the excitement has continued even in the chat group that we've had past the event, which I've never seen that before. It's usually after an event, people start dropping out of the chat, and this has stayed fired up. So, Mike, what would you say is one of the things that you enjoyed the most about the event?
I love, so I go to a lot of conferences, a lot of especially real estate events. I should say real estate and non-real estate related events. And when I go to these conferences, I'm because I'm a speaker myself who speaks on stages, I'm always kind of sizing up the person that's speaking, just to see like, what they got. Like, are they bringing it? And like, for instance, if you're a coach, you can watch a team and you can kind of dissect what they're doing. It's like, oh, I know what they're about to do. Like you can almost see the plays as they're unraveling. And so many times I go to these events, and as I'm like kind of dissecting, like, oh, I see what they did there. Um, I won't say that those have been underwhelming, but I will definitely say that Build at Sea, we brought the fire. Every single speaker made you feel that they were there, made you remember that they were there, and it felt personal every single time they got on stage as they told their story. We were able to see our story in their words. And I think that's a very powerful way of pulling together, like you said, 14 or 15 different speakers, all with only about 15 minutes to speak at a time. And so I loved how energetic it was. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to go to the restroom break right now because, I think we got a 20-minute break in between speakers or a 10-minute break in between. It was like, no, rapid fire. Here we go. Stay in your seat because if you miss it, you might not get it back. And so that was one of my favorite parts. What about you, Rebecca?
I think when going back to just 15 minutes, you wonder how much can they deliver in 15 minutes. And let me tell you, it's consolidated and it was powerful. And what I love the most, I think, is we decided to do something a little different. And even here on this Gap call, just mentioning it, I think is still going to be something that distinguishes us from other groups, right? But we decided that we were going to lean into our faith. And one of the things that we did was we had a prayer group each morning. And the prayer group started maybe with about, I don't know, 12 women. I think there was one guy the first day. And then the second day, there was a few more people, about, I'm going to say about 20. And there was more men who came into the group. And the third day, and those first 2 days, by the way, we announced them. By the third day, all of us are kind of feeling tired. Nobody announced it. I'm thinking, are they going to show up? Because we didn't say anything. And I said, you know what? I better be there because someone's going to show up. I know it is. And there were people that were already there. And I was so surprised because we didn't announce it. And so I thought for sure no one would show up, but yet there they were. And we had the largest group that day. And what I found was there were people who, although, all of us go through stuff in our life, and we all wear our smiles every day and we show up and we do what we got to do, but sometimes we're carrying weight of worries, weight of problems and challenges that we're going through. And what I was seeing was people who not only were going through stuff, but others who just wanted to be there to help lift that load for others. And so coming together, having an opportunity, and it wasn't even like planned, like it wasn't, there was no agenda for this. So it was people sharing from their heart what they felt, and then sharing some scripture, and then just kind of coming together in prayer. It was such a beautiful and powerful way. And I believe, inviting God to be that leader for us during the event kind of shifted what we were doing and how it was received. And so it was something, there was something I'd never seen like that at any event. And we've all kind of in one way or another shared our faith from the stage, but this one was different. It was definitely more spirit filled, and we felt that. We felt that presence in that event, and I think it made all the difference. And that to me would be the number one.
Man, I love that. Yeah, it was there was definitely some healing going on. And not only was there a spiritual journey that was happening and being shared with everyone, and whoever would accept it and wanted to be a part of it, they were able to, but the same thing was happening with the physical journey. There were people who got together in the mornings and said, hey, you know what? I'm going to be at the gym at 6 a.m. Who's going to meet me there? And there were people like, yo, I ain't been to the gym in months or years, but I'm coming. I'm going to meet you there. And before you knew it, every single day, the same thing was happening. This group started growing, and six by 6:15, yo, you couldn't even get a treadmill because our group was on there. But it was all
Mm-hmm.
like it was nothing but build at sea takeover in the gym. Whether you were lifting weights, you were getting some yoga in, or you were on the treadmill, or like me, I was doing a little bit of both. And so there were some days where I was in the gym lifting weights, but then there was other times I was out on the deck getting my steps in. Some of you guys know that I do that 7K by 7A, which is 7,000 steps before 7 a.m. And that is, man, that just fuels me so much. And so I shared that from the stage, and there were some people who were like, I'll be out there. I'll meet you out there. And so we ended up having these walk run groups. And you know, we have to be the whole. We have to show up as our whole selves, right? We can't just show up as the real estate entrepreneur, the real estate icon, or you can't just show up as the healthy person whose real estate, business sucks, But then you also can't be the physically fit real estate agent who's frigging crushing it in the game, but is spiritually void, right? And you go home and feel empty, even when you get the plaques and awards and the accoutrement, you feel like there's still something more and you don't know exactly what it is. And I say it all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and I got this from my pastor, but you can't have your best year if it's not also your best year spiritually. And so keeping
Mm-hmm.
that at the root of everything that we do produces great fruit.
I love that. I love that. And speaking of of the 7 a.m. running club. I see we have Josue Soto here on the call who is spearheading that. Josue, what's up? What can you share with us about that experience real quick in just less than 30 seconds?
Oh man, it was an experience that I guess, some no one really expected it. I guess we expected it because we were kind of planning this, behind the scenes for several weeks. But I think being led by God first was the most important, and that was amazing. You know,
Hmm.
I think that when you look at everything, the way it should have been lined up from the speakers to the fitness and to the spiritual side of it, it was something that we as a whole wanted it to be this way. I mean, Mike and Rebecca, you guys can attest to this, man. There was several weeks we've been kind of leading this and making sure that these speakers were aligned, which is most important. I think, Mike, you touched on it. Like when it came to this 15-minute rapid fire with from these speakers, we expected nothing but fire, and that's what they did. I see some of them on here. Lexus is on here, and honestly, for those that attended and for those that haven't attended, we highly recommend seeing you guys next year because we got big goals next year, and then we feel as a group that it's already there. I mean, we sold what was it, 40, 50 plus tickets already for next year, right from the ship. So this is
Yeah,
telling you how
yeah,
good it
yeah.
was.
That was before we even got off the ship.
Correct. This is even before we
Hmm.
got off the ship. So I mean, I'm excited. Leading that group, when it comes to the fitness side of it, Mike, you led amazingly, man. There, being there, I think we all got to lead by example. Mike touched it best, man. We have to. These are the four pillars of what God really talks about, man. We gotta take care of our temple. Our temple is our body, man. We can't move forward without it. So it's important to lead with taking care of your body and your spiritual ways, So there was so much else, man, but I'll leave it there.
Good stuff.
Thank you, Josue. Thank you. And we've got some people on the call here that will raise their hands that they wanted to share a little bit about their experience. So I don't know if we should get off to them. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, let's kick it off. I know that we had there's a lot. Norma, Kiki was there. Richard Sherrod was there. Richard Sherrod agreed to come on this morning and said he would love. And as a matter of fact, Richard Sherrod, he actually started sharing something. Now, let me tell you something about Richard Sherrod. Richard Sherrod was a guy who he was like this mythical legend around the office when I first joined the office because I would see him every once in a while, but he was this guy who was always getting awards. He was always the top salesperson. Wouldn't see him much. And truth be told, the pandemic kind of slowed some things down. So he wasn't coming outside as much as I was outside. And then but more and more recently, he started showing up in a different way. And I don't mean just showing up physically, but truly being present when he's there. And he graced us with his presence at on Build at Sea, and I think that he was blessed by it. Is that true, Richard?
Absolutely. I don't know if you can hear me because I was a little technically challenged trying to get my mic unmuted.
Hear
But
you
yeah,
loud and clear, my friend. Go ahead.
it was truly an amazing experience. So many times in our office, um, um, people have shared how they've gone to Tony Robbins, Cabo, and all these different places. And then everybody comes back in the office and they talk about, I see the excitement in them, in their eyes and their spirits. But honestly, I couldn't really connect to it. I was like, okay, that looks great. I'm glad you guys had a great time. It must have been fun being in Cabo and all. And they like, man, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and they're all excited, they're all energized. And I didn't get it. I've been to a lot of conferences and different things, and I couldn't connect to it. And Gil had just been been very persistent with me. Hey, you need to make this trip. It's going to be different. Things are going to happen or whatever. So I just booked it, and I booked it early, right? I booked it early, and and um, and it really hit me. Being on that ship, it really surprised me, in terms of it motivated me. More importantly, it touched me. Um, And there were so many people with so many powerful things to share, but at the same time, it's like you just had to be there to feel it. And not only did I get a chance to witness all the different things that were shared, I got to pick and choose really what I wanted to take back with me. You know, it's like if you're not there, then you're only going to get what people are going to share with you about their experience. And maybe those are the things they decided to bring back and put as a part of their life, their career, and what they're going to do. I had a chance to see it firsthand, a whole encyclopedia of outstanding motivational speakers, and was able to like have one-on-ones with Brent, Abel, Carlos. I mean, it's like people that I don't normally, they're not in my sphere of just normal folks I'm going to talk to every day. And there were a couple of days, Brent Gove, we sat at the table together, having coffee and pastries. And I'm like, man, Brent Gove is just sitting over and we're talking about life. We're talking about family. We're talking about goals. And then big Brent Gove gets right up from there and says something like, suffer. You got to, he goes from this calm, mild manner. We're having a great conversation. He's all motivated. And he hops on stage and he's like, you gotta suffer. And I'm like, and I'm looking at him like, hey, man, Brent, way to bring it. But at the same time, it's like, not that it should take all of that for everybody to get it, but it's like you felt it. When you're in that room, you feel that energy, and at the same time, um, there are like so many ideas I had flowing at once in my head. But when you're present, you're able to, in that moment, decide for yourself what you want to take away for you, you know? And that's what I loved and appreciated about it. And it's like I don't expect to miss a bill in the future because of how much I got out of it. And not only that, hey, on the bill, I got a chance to bring my wife. So it was like a
Yeah.
plus because trust me, there's no way I can go to. I would ever think about going to Cowboy, those other places without my wife. Okay, that's a guarantee. But it was like a cruise. She was like, "Heck yeah, I'm going." So that made it even better, and I was able to really indoctrinate myself to what was happening every day. And again, Rebecca and Mike, you guys were just phenomenal, bringing the energy every single day. You know, I don't know what I had for breakfast or what God was giving me, but He was giving you two a little bit extra. Okay. Uh,
Thank you. You got to bring the energy.
yeah, it was great just being there, witness it. But that's kind of what I wanted to
Yeah.
share.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Richard. I think it was awesome. I say all the time when we have people who attend our events or who are on calls like this, and when you chime in, like you got to understand. I really want you guys to get to a point, and many of you guys are there, but I don't believe that everybody's there. But I truly believe this about myself. I truly believe that the room is different if I'm not in it. There's something that's missing if I'm not there.
Right.
I truly believe that I bring a presence into every room that I walk into, and that my presence will be felt, not because I'm loud and boisterous and all of that kind of stuff, but I'm going to add value in the way that I add value. And so, I can tell you that every single one of the people that were there at Build at Sea, there was 120 of us there on a cruise ship of all places for 4 nights, 5 days, taken away from their business, maybe their spouse, their family, whatever it is, or even bringing that all of that with them. And it was powerful. It was powerful, and not one person who was out of that 120 people who were there stepped off feeling like I could have done without that.
Mm-hmm.
Every single person felt like, whoa, this was important. This was for me right now. And
No,
Rebecca, you want to bring the next person up? I want to hear from some people.
Oh
Keep that
yeah,
going.
oh yeah. I feel like, everyone that was there felt like this is where I needed to be. And so this next person I want to introduce, um, I think it's important to be attending events, because when it's so many things happen in your world, right? So you're working, you're grinding it out, and sometimes you could lose focus. Sometimes you can feel like you're disconnected. And so if you're feeling disconnected, which it happens to all of us, what is the best way to get reconnected? Well, you got to get yourself plugged in. And to me, I stay plugged into this gap call every week, not because I need it. I mean, sure, I'm always going to pick up tips here and there, but I want to stay plugged in so that I continue the excitement, right? So that I'm getting filled up with what I need to start my week powerful. But this next person was so excited. It re-energized her. She came from Destin, Florida, traveled by herself, not knowing a single person. Her sponsor called me and says, Rebecca, please, will you meet up with her? She doesn't know anyone. And of course I said, yes, of course I'll meet up with her. But I think she left with 120 new friends and a
So,
new vision to continue building her empire. So Kiki, where are you at, girl? Let's open the stage for her. Kiara Proctor.
there she is.
There? Are you there?
She found that unmute
I'm like,
button.
yeah, okay, can you guys hear me? Okay, yes, I did.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I mean, everyone welcomed me with such open arms. And, just like Rebecca said, I went by myself. I was like super nervous at times. I was like, am I gonna like know who's here with the conference? It was definitely very terrifying, very outside of my comfort zone, but I knew that I needed to do something to change my mindset a little bit, right? So I came in, kind of like stuck, with kind of like a goal in mind. It's like, is it something that I want to do? Is it something that, um, like that I can move forward with and do it alone, right? That's kind of like the mentality that I went in, just, based on what could be happening with my business in the next year or so. And just by going there and just having like such intimate time with each and every single person, and then also, with the speakers like that, one time, like, oh, hey, I see her, she's free. I'm gonna go talk to her about, whatever I can come up with, and just taking everybody's brains, and just the collaboration, of it, the collaboration, the energy. Everybody was absolutely amazing. All of the speakers. I think one of my main takeaways was definitely attraction. It's something that I believe in, that see in the community that we have. And so, like, why not share that with other people? And, big wins for my business is I had 3 coffee meetings last week with leads in my area, and they all went great. And I followed, like a mix of like Kurt Schill's, tactics, and then, I got blanking on his name. The guy with the really cool shorts and the Gucci shoes, loved him. So I implemented a blend of those, 2 guys, and it went absolutely amazing. And then the other biggest part, I think, was definitely, the faith. I've never really been like a big spiritual person, and now I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start with blessings in the morning, something that I've also incorporated to like our personal life. So now every night, whenever we put to bed, we just say our blessings for the night, and that's given me so much, like, I feel like freedom, that it's like, okay, I can do it by myself, but no, I don't have to, because I've got this entire community of people that just want to see me grow. And if I'm growing, everyone's growing, the company's growing. And so, yeah, I think that those were definitely
That's
the most
awesome.
impactful moments, and just incorporating all of those things. And now I'm like, okay, now I can learn systems from Evelyn and Carlos, team leading, and the team structures from Veronica and Rebecca. I mean, guys, I'm still talking to people about it. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, like, shut up now. And I'm like, no, I'm going to continue to tell you about everything. Yeah, so it really was such an amazing time to change my perspective and go bigger, go harder. And, I was just completely just re-inspired.
Yes, that's what we want to
I
hear.
mean, I didn't tell you that, I'm sure other people.
But
That's what it's all
that's
about.
that's the consensus, right? Everybody left reinvigorated, re-inspired. I mean, you'll be hard pressed to find me not excited, in any space that I'm in. But I found myself even invigorated by everything that I heard, and I think there's something to be said, like whether you're a brand new agent who's just starting out, and you don't have very many deals under your belt, or if you are, kind of an intermediate agent, you've been around for, 5 to 8 years or whatever, and business is going pretty well. Maybe you are inspired, you're doing some things that many other agents aren't doing, or whether even you're a top performing agent, and maybe you even haven't been in real estate for that long, but you're just a top performer. You're always going after it. I think there's something to be said about what you get out of events, but also what you can receive from the events that you go to. But events like these also remind you the importance of being in the room when other people's light bulb goes off. Like when other people are inspired by something that they've seen and it brings them, y'all, we had literal tears. There were literal tears inside of the room as people were just experiencing the freedom that Kiki was just talking about, where they felt seen, and they felt like they'd been telling themselves maybe a lie this whole time about what their potential was. Maybe for the first time they saw more in themselves than they saw before they got on the ship. And there is something that's empowering about being empowered, but seeing other people empowered. Like that is exactly what makes you go, I can't keep this a secret any longer. I have to tell people about what's going on here. I have to invite more people to events like this because I'm being selfish if I don't.
Yeah.
If I'm not telling people about this opportunity, I'm being selfish because there are people who want that exact same breakthrough. And so for those of you guys who showed up, I know not everybody was able to show up, but hopefully after this call, you're already going to be looking for the link for the next one, right? Because this is going to be something that is transformational again, all over again.
Mike, I want to
I
say
see
something
some
about
other
Kiki real
people that
quick.
were on the call, but I also saw
Let
a
me,
hand up. Oh,
yeah, give
wait.
me 1 second. Let me
Somebody?
say something about Kiki real quick, and then we can move on. One of
Oh,
the things that I was impressed about Kiki was that as timid as she wasn't afraid. She was willing to overcome those fears that she had. All of a sudden, I remember her coming up to me, Rebecca. She was kind of timid. She was like, "Hey, my sponsor is Nathan Abbott, and he says you guys will take care of me." I'm like, "Oh, you guys, don't worry, your family." But then afterwards, she was like, everyone was like this family bond just created in there, and Kiki was with everyone. All of a sudden, she was sitting in every
The
different
chain
table,
reaction.
talking to everyone. And this is the power of really dropping your ego and just run with it, man. You know what?
Coming
yeah.
into the room, pulling up a
Yes,
chair.
correct.
That's so good. So good. All right. Carla has her hand up. Carla, do you have something you want to share or ask?
I do. Unfortunately, I did not make this event, and hearing everybody tell their stories, share their experiences. Obviously, I have FOMO, as all of the events that I've ever attended have been just like this, which is how I ended up at our office here in Orlando, anyways, because that's what I felt from day one that I did not feel from any other brokerage that I was interviewing. And I just wanted to say that I had to step off on a call. So Josue, if you were talking about the same thing that I'm going to talk about, I apologize to let me know. But Kavan, the videographer that was with the group, he was lit up. Okay. He's like, every time I come to the office, that event on the cruise was amazing. He's like, I get a coaching session every time I'm around these groups. And I just wanted to point out that you don't even have to be in real estate to get something out of these events. And I think that's maybe that's one of the things that is so important, because it's less about the business and more about like the collaboration, the community, the family. I mean, I'm not a super religious person, but I go to church every time I go to the office, right? So, I mean, you always have takeaways, you have a new belief. And I think it's just so important to continue, like we always talk about, planning your next event, because it's just building blocks. You know, you're building a foundation, and until you build your empire, and whatever that looks like to you. And it could be production, it could be agent attraction, it could be whatever. And it's just, we have all of the opportunities. And like Richard had said, unless you come to the events, we could talk all the time about these things, but unless you actually experience that energy, like, you have no idea. Like, no idea. I can't tell
So
you
true.
enough. Like, but yeah, it's just very impactful, and I'm so blessed to be a part of this group.
Well, we are glad you are a part of the group, Carla Davis.
Yes,
But
we
I
are.
couldn't have said it more. I couldn't have said it better. You're absolutely right. Like, you know, again, we are our group. We speak to the whole person, not just the real estate agent. And so we invite you to be your whole self when you come into our space. And I think that's one of the cool things about the brokers in which we work, right? With eXp Realty, there is something empowering about not having to only show up as a real estate agent. I always say, you know, I have some guests that are here on the call, and we were just having a conversation last week, and I said, you know, one of the cool things about this brokerage is that we cater to the entrepreneurial agent. We're talking to the agent who is creative, who is thinking about more ways to grow business and help people. Like, that's our focus. Grow your business and help more people. And if you can help more people grow their business, then why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? And if that's not what you want to do, if it's all about self, me, I want to grow my business. I don't, that whole agent attraction thing. Let me just focus on making my money. You got it wrong. There's something that's not hitting. And I think Brent Gove said it best. He said, you know, one of the best things about our business is that we are in the and business, production and attraction. Because we believe in the power of what's happening, we are telling people and inviting them to be a part of the party. So I love it. Rebecca, anybody else you wanted to bring up?
There's another person, but I see that Miranda has her hand up, so I'm going to go ahead
Miranda
and
was in the cruise.
kick it
I
off to her.
was.
Hi,
And you guys
Miranda.
were phenomenal. So, I took away so much from that cruise. It is unbelievable. But the biggest thing was I was holding myself back thinking, because I'm not a high production agent yet, that I couldn't attract. And the cruise taught me that that is not the case. And that is one of the biggest things I took away. The other thing was figuring out, I reverse engineered and put it into my own life, how Brent did his 30 and 30. And I started using that whole motto, and I just feel like I am moving. I got a listing, I got a couple new buyers, I got, and I'm like,
Yes, that's what it's
yeah.
about.
So
Oh,
She
yeah.
took the
And
challenge.
then, of
30.
course, walking every morning, Mike. So, yeah. So, yeah, I've taken so much stuff from this cruise. I can't even tell you. And then I also logged in with Curtis Shewell because I want to attract. So I've been learning from him the right questions to ask, because that's what
The
it's
goat.
about, is asking the right questions, not
Mm-hmm.
telling people, but asking. So yeah,
you know, one of the
cruise
things I
was
love about that
phenomenal, and
is
I'm already signed up for next year.
Woohoo!
So
congratulations. One of the things I love about that is, you know, coming off the ship, there was a lot of people who were like, man, I'm inspired. I'm inspired by your 3.5 miles that you do before 7 a.m. and all that. I'm going to start doing that. I'll start doing that. And I'm like, okay, all right. You know, everybody's inspired, but are you actually going to take action? And I can tell you that
I
Miranda was one
actually
of the
was,
first people to take action. Not only did she do it, but she got on her phone and shot some social media
Yeah.
content, people, and then
yeah.
even tagged me in it and said 7K by 7A. What's up, Mike Collier? And I just thought that was amazing. So great job to you, Miranda.
Yeah, we're so proud of you, Miranda. Way to go. Way to step up and take all these actionable items and really implement them. So we're really, really proud of you and looking forward to seeing you again next year for sure.
And real
Oh,
quick,
definitely. And I
Miranda,
am so happy to have been included in this to begin with.
real
I
quick,
don't get to,
Miranda, I'm sorry,
yeah,
so talking over you.
that's okay. Go ahead.
I'm just curious, what was the 30 in 30 challenge so that we could share with the people on this call today?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Explain to the people what that was.
Brent Cove explained how he was broke and lost all his deals in like 3 hours and was just, overwhelmed and said, all right, that's it. What am I going to do? And he gave himself the challenge to, sell 30 homes in 30 days. And he didn't hit the 30, he hit the 14 mark. But yeah, and I took his entire everything he had to talk about because we did the it's on YouTube on his YouTube channel, but we had the Zoom with him and I took that entire transcript and I put it into ChatGTP and said, give me a schedule. What do I need to do to make this happen? Tell me exactly the steps. Um, Tell me the scripts, for me, put it in my life and how I run my business. And ChatGTP gave me everything. And then I said, now put this into my calendar. And it gives you GTP can give you a actual downloadable file that you can put into your Google Calendar and it scheduled everything out. You're going to make these calls. You're going to show this house. You're going to do these scripts. And so I just open up my calendar and there it all is. And yeah, all because of
Wow.
Brent Cove, all because of this
Wow.
cruise.
Wow, that's an amazing use of AI, by the way, that I hadn't even thought of. And I know I was there. I didn't catch it. So I needed you to share that with me because I'm like, wait, what? I want to be put onto that.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, I'm an AI geek, so that whole like the Suno song thing, I've been doing that for a while now. We have local firemen's parades here. I created all my own music saying call Miranda, danceable music, had it playing in big speakers going in all the firemen's picnic parades and my grandkids handing out popsicles and yeah.
Oh, that's
So I'm an AI
awesome.
geek.
That's awesome.
So
That's amazing.
Can I add
Yeah,
one
I want
thing
to
to
bring.
the
I
AI?
want to mention that too. I want to mention that too. There was a strong presence in regards to what we were doing with AI. All the conversations, many of the conversations had to do with, obviously self-improvement, improving our business, but also how we are introducing AI into our business. And let me tell you, man, again, tears. There were people who had breakthroughs with some of the things that we offered and shared with them in regards to how we can use AI and be more human with AI, showing the human side of AI. And like I said, there wasn't a dry eye in the room as a result of it. If you are interested in finding out what we did with those AI prompts that caused everybody to have a heart shift in that room, type prompt in the chat right now. Put prompt in the chat right now, and we'll make sure that you get the prompts that Nick Krim brought up. And let me tell you something, it was fire. You don't want to miss it. We'll make sure you get it. Arturo,
It
Can I
Amy,
just
definitely
we'll make
was a
sure.
lot of fire. Mhm.
can I just add something onto Miranda's AI use? So how she creates the program for herself. I always ask my chat GPT, her name is Maya. I always ask her to provide me any pitfalls I could anticipate and how do I overcome those or prevent myself from falling into those traps as well. So that way I'm like not only having this in place, but what do I look out for that's going to throw me off my plan? So it'll, based upon our conversations, it kind of knows me, so it knows my tendencies, and it can also provide extra cushion. So don't fall into these traps, and this is how you get out if you do.
Yeah,
Love
that's
that.
awesome.
Love that.
yeah, that's really
Well, we've
cool.
Y'all,
got
I just dropped it. I just dropped it into the Zoom chat. I just dropped it into the Zoom chat. That's the link, crimprompts.com. Go check it out. When I tell you, it will change everything. Don't start playing with it right now. Just click
Yeah.
on it just so it's open, right?
Mike, we
And
could
then come
also
back in here
share.
because we still
We
got
could
some.
also share.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we could also share with them the 24 questionnaire that Abel came up with, like prior to building your. Oh, that was amazing. Your Suno music. I
Absolutely.
mean, that was deep. I mean, you guys, it really, really, guys, you focus on that. You don't have to answer all 24 of them, but if you can answer 4 or 5 of those questions, you're gonna get a lot of clarity within your personal and your business life. Man, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Love
Yeah.
that.
Joe, we see you
Well,
with your hand up, man. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Rebecca. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. We have two more people that I wanted to get to. I don't, I see that Joe has his hand up. I wanted to get to these two folks before we get to the top of
Oh,
the
okay.
hour.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, Joe, hold off for a second. Stay here though. We're gonna hear from a couple more people who are on the ship.
I want to kick it off to this next person. And she shared something very vulnerable, had a big breakthrough, and something that I relate to because, you could see me here speaking on Gap or even on stage emceeing, and I haven't always been this version of myself. I used to be someone who was painfully shy, and this next person also is someone who struggles with a little bit of social anxiety. So if we can get Norma to come up, Norma, let me see if Norma's here. Norma
Still
Vargas,
here.
Yeah, can you hear
and
me?
kind of share with us a little bit. Yep, we can hear you now.
Yes.
Share with us a little bit about what your experience was and something that touched you or moved you.
So definitely a mindset shift. And I made a little bit of a list so I don't forget anything. But these are the things where it's almost like a constant reminder now as I go through my day. So number one, and this is not in any significant order. Josie mentioning to retell your story. So where I don't say I have a jacked up back, I now have my yoga mat behind me so I could take breaks and do stretches, right? So like retell the story. I'm not going to constantly say that. I'm not going to constantly say I have social anxiety. Now what I say is I'm going to kill the bear, right? Because of guilt. And honestly, what I did was I bought myself a digital picture frame. And so I used to have all these quotes just kind of scattered throughout my wall. And now what I did was I took a picture of each of them and put them on the digital photo. So on the digital frame. So it just scrolls every day from 7 to 5. So every time I look, I have that. And I also took a picture of the sunrise that one day and I just put a caption on it that says kill the bear. So every so often I look and it's there. Every time I make what I feel is going to be a difficult phone call, I literally say, just kill the bear and pick up the phone. And it just did this different thing in my head. Mike also said,
Hold on, Norma. Hold on, Norma,
yeah,
really quick.
hmm
How do you say it though? How do you say kill the bear?
I said it really loud that day. Now I just need to say, just kill the bear, Norma, just kill the bear.
Norma,
And I
come
pick
on now.
up
We
the
need to hear
phone.
you say it. You've been on the cruise. You've been
We're
there,
trying
done
we're
that.
trying to give the energy to the people, Norma. Don't let us
Yeah.
Say it,
down.
Norma. Say it.
I'm gonna kill the bear. That's as loud as I'm gonna get.
Louder!
Yeah, louder, Norma.
I'm gonna kill the bear, but like I feel like I'm gonna kill the bear, right? Because what one man can do, any man can do. Honestly, like those everything that we heard on the cruise weren't just freaking phrases. Like to me, they're mantras, right?
Absolutely.
Like Mike and I were talking about had a potential referral, and we were gonna exchange numbers, and we were eating, and then he said, "You know what? There's no time like the present." And that's something that you said that you may have just something that you say, but for me it's stuck, right? There's no time like the present. People making a conscious choice to follow me on social media and then I don't post. I'm ghosting people who have made a conscious choice. So if you think anything you said didn't stick, it's stuck. Brent saying it's not magic, it's motion. I know a lot of stuff. Like I really do. I take a class every single day. I do an hour of something every single day, including weekends, right? I'm sure there's a million more things. There are a million more things I can learn, but it's about putting it into motion, right? Like doing it. There's no magic pill. Intentional about scrolling and what I'm consuming. Music hits different. scrolling hits different since I got back. Now I'm being more intentional about what I even listen to. Um, and and then creating a life. Alexis had made a comment about creating the life that she wanted. And I can tell you at a closing on Friday, I get these little trinkets from a place in St. Pete that I like, and they have sayings on them. And I found one that said, life isn't about um, finding yourself, it's about creating the life that you want. And my client literally, the tears down her
Oh.
face when I handed that to her on Friday. And it struck a chord because I read it and I'm like, oh, that's what Alexis had said, on the cruise. So that's pretty much it. I feel like I kind of came in feeling like a side dish, but like everybody likes mac and cheese and you need it. So
Yay!
yeah.
Let's go. Norma is the mac and cheese, baby.
Everybody
I
likes
love
mac
it.
and cheese.
When you hire away, and that I will tell you that's another thing I did implement. I immediately came back and hired an assistant.
Woo! I love that.
Yes.
Leverage. That is
Yes.
amazing.
So one of the books
Well,
that we brought up on Build at Sea, for those of you guys taking notes, it's Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell. And that book was one of the biggest impacts, I would say, on my business this year. I see Josue saying, yeah, me too. I read that book and immediately made one of the most important hires in my business. So please, Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell. Go check it out. Go listen to it on Audible. It's worth every minute.
I love
All
it.
right, we got another person you wanted to bring up, right, Rebecca?
Yep. We have Eric Alicea, who is up next. Eric, are you there?
Yes, I am. How are you?
We're doing good. How are you, my friend?
Good. Glad to see you guys again. Um, so yeah, I guess my real quick testimonial from my experience of the cruise was to get rid of my limiting beliefs. I was stuck in a part in my career, in a place in my career where, I mean, I've been into business for 13 years, and the last 3 years have just been uh, a grind. It's been really, really, really hard, and I haven't been able to gain traction. Just spinning my wheels, and felt like nothing I was doing was working, and I was about to quit. I mean, honestly, I was really close to quitting. Went on this cruise, and it was absolutely life changing. I realized that I had a lot of limiting beliefs, and I had a lot of bad habits, and I had to identify those. Um, uh, what Josue said about that thing that Abel posted. Absolutely. I filled out that questionnaire. I found out what my bad habits were. I had to think about what good habits I needed to start. Um, the AI thing was amazing, because what I learned from that was that, uh, Chat GPT doesn't have my limiting beliefs about me.
Bingo.
It's a lot of self-imposed, I don't think that I'm good enough. I don't think that I can do this. And ChatGPT doesn't think that. ChatGPT says I can conquer the friggin' world if I want to. And and, and so when I asked ChatGPT to tell me, hey, this is what I want my life to look like, and this is, my habits that I want to start, my habits that I want to quit, um, you know, and I did that, and that was just so eye-opening to me and very impactful. Um, so when I forget who it was that said it earlier, on the cruise too, they said, you can't hit a goal you don't have. And so, um, I wasn't setting goals for myself, and that was really hard, um, because I I didn't know what I could accomplish. And so what I did was I went ahead and I started setting goals. And then Brent Gove, when he spoke, he talked about making goals that are bigger than what you bigger than what you can actually think you can accomplish. And the AI helped me realize that I need to set like astronomical goals, like what I would think is an unattainable goal, but if I dream big enough, I can accomplish it. Because if I don't dream big enough, then I'm barely gonna accomplish anything at all. Um,
Mm-hmm.
It's
you
good,
know, I mean,
Eric.
so
Sure,
yeah,
man.
I mean, those were my big takeaways. And then so, I wasn't with EXP when I started when I went on that cruise. And the day I got off the ship, I signed up. I was like, shut up, take my money, let's
Welcome
go.
to the fam. Welcome to the family,
Yeah.
Eric. Congratulations. That's amazing. This
That's
is what it's all about.
You,
That's what these
you know,
events do for you.
I want to touch on something that Eric just said. That was one of the things that was really shocking to the majority of us. We never really like everyone was so aligned that the name EXP never came up till the last day that people brought it up. Like, hey, I'm not with EXP when they mentioned it, but we were just here to help everyone grow their business, including ourselves. Because one thing I do is no matter where I'm at on stage, on the side, I'm learning something as well as everyone else. So Eric, man, I remember meeting you in the hallway. You asked me when we were walking back, and you said, "Hey, are all your conferences like this?" I'm like, "Yes, but this one is at another level." I remember him and I walking back. So it's been a pleasure working, speaking with Eric on the way back to dinner. And I'm so proud of you, man. I'm proud of you that you stepped up and you really focusing on what's important to you, man. So way to go.
Great job, Eric. I'll echo something that Josue just said. It's just, understanding. I think it's important for you to understand that, I think you got a glimpse of it, obviously, at Build at Sea, which is one of the things that made you say, "Hey, this is probably the place there I need to be." But the importance of community, for us, it's everything. Community, culture, support, training. Like these are not just things that we talk about. This is what we do. This is who we are. It's the fabric of what this alliance is. And so when you step into this, you can't help but be transformed unless you just don't want it. And something you said, I realized that if I think bigger, I can do bigger. But if I don't, then I probably won't hit my goals. But I think I can help you to tweak that a little bit. If you think bigger, then you can do bigger. But if you don't think big, you'll hit that too, right? You're going to
So
get
true.
wherever you set that altitude to be. And we're going to help you to get there. But if you only want to be 2 steps further ahead, you can do that. But one of the other books that was brought up, and we were talking about this on one of my morning meetings, one of my meetings this morning, is 10x is easier than 2x. 10x is easier than 2x. So for you book readers out there, you might want to pick that one up or listen to it on Audible. I have the Audible version, but if you get to decide, do you want to double your business or do you want to 10x your business? And is there a way to truly do that without driving yourself crazy? The answer is yes. But it's not until you actually plug into events like this, calls like these, where your mind gets opened to the possibilities of people not just having. This is something I want to really underscore before we begin to wrap up. Is this is not just us having positive self-talk. You guys understand that, right? Like positive self-talk is very, very important. But positive self-talk without the corresponding actions is just gossip in your own head. There's nothing that comes from that if you don't take the action, the aligned actions with that positive stuff. And so I thank you guys for being on. And Rebecca has dropped the link. So for those of you guys who are excited about next year's Build at Sea cruise, you hear us talking about it. You can make a little deposit of $100 and reserve your spot right now. Rebecca, you got anything else you want to say about that?
Well, yeah, no, I think that now is a great time. Make that commitment to yourself for that growth. get registered. It's just $100. We spend that so easily on nothing. And so commit to yourself, get registered. We're working on the plans already for next year. It's going to be just as amazing. Last year was amazing. This year was fire, and next year's going to be even better. But I want to get to Joe. I know we're almost at the top of the hour there, and I want to get to Joe. He's had his hand up. Joe, take it away.
Hey, good afternoon, guys. Real quick, it's just about that young lady and her AI. She said something about being able to connect her AI to her calendar. My simple question was it a Google Calendar? I missed it if she said so.
Okay, was that Miranda?
Was that normal?
Yeah,
oh,
it was.
Miranda. Oh, yeah.
No, it was. I think it was Miranda.
Miranda.
The young lady
Yes.
that did the 30-30 challenge.
Yes, I put it in. I use ChatGTP, and it can create a import to your Google Calendar. So then you can go in and you can create a calendar. Like I have, like, I don't know, probably 20 different calendars, things I can
Nice.
toggle on
Okay.
and off in my Google Calendar. And when you make one, you can import it, and
Awesome.
And
ChatGTP
here's
can create that.
the beauty of AI in ChatGPT is that you could ask it the question, how do I connect this to my calendar? And it will give you the instructions. So if you didn't catch it here, if you missed a step, you can ask ChatGPT. It's your partner for everything that you do. A book that I received as a gift, and I know we've shared a lot of books, but the AI Driven Leader has a lot of prompts in here. This book is phenomenal. So I've been like highlighting and going through it, but this is my read this week, and it's got a lot to help you build your team, build your business, connect to all these things, and use AI in a deeper level. So it's amazing. It's your strategy partner.
Yeah, and for
Sounds
those of you
awesome.
guys, thank you for putting that in there, Arturo, in the chat. But for those of you who are, Android versus Apple, part of those Apple wars, you can do it for Apple Calendar too. Okay, calm down. All right, it doesn't have to just be a Google Calendar. I see y'all's faces getting all squinched up, because you have a substandard phone. But nonetheless, you know what? This has been amazing. Has this been good for you? Drop some fires in the chat. Come on, man. Was this good? Was this fire? Was this exactly what you needed for your Monday? Yo, this is Monday. It feels like Friday after a call like this, doesn't it? You're like ready to take over the world. You're like, put them showing. How many of you guys are ready to commit to 30 closings in 30 days? Come on. Woo! Even if you fail, let go said, I failed miserably. I got 14 closings in 30 days. Come on, somebody.
Who wants 14 closings? Heck
Look,
yeah. Sign me up.
Man, yes. All the little hairs all over my head stood up when he said that. And let me tell you, these are just the right rooms to be in. These are the right people to be around. These are the entrepreneurs that will go on, and I believe many of them, maybe some of you all on this call, will go on to write books that will inspire nations, that will inspire people. And your story will be a story that's inspiring people. And so I say it all the time, but I'll end with this. Your story is not for you. Your story is not for you. Your story is meant to be shared so that getting over that introverted mentality, that negative self-talk that allowed you to go on to be the successful, healthy individual, family person that you're called to be, man, you lifting up and speaking to yourself positively and rising up to the challenge of your purpose, your God-given purpose for you being here in this world, there's nothing better than that. There's nothing greater than that. And if you can use your story to inspire people, then do it. Open your mouth and invite somebody into the next room, because we invite you back to the Gap Mastermind next Monday.
Next Monday. We'll see you then. Have a great week, everyone.